35 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Joe Reichel is in the studio from Damage Control Services, and he'll answer your questions about your do-it-yourself projects that you're doing to improve your home, or maybe the questions you have about what you need to do to get somebody a little more experience at those kind of things. The phone number right now to call Joe Reichel is 622-9622. That is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline. We control climate and we control damage. Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Not doing a very good job of the outside climate. It's a little warm.
Yeah, it's not so bad, though.
And too many rainstorms.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't mind those because we need them. We need the rain. But we don't need the lightning as well as the strong winds that seem to blow trees down. So
there was a house that burnt down in Lecanto from lightning strike. Did you see that in the news?
Yes. I heard about it. I didn't really get to see it.
I read it, but there was no photograph.
I was talking to a fireman the other night, and we were talking about the amount of lightning strikes that are, homes are getting struck by lightning, and every time that happens, they've got to go out there and check it, make sure that there's, everything's okay. So
they're burning a house intentionally tomorrow for training purposes on Lake Weir.
I don't know. I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, the firefighters have been filling it with smoke, and then they had to find 2 mannequins in there as they're training.
Right.
And now I think it's tomorrow they're actually going to set it on fire, and I guess we're all invited out to come watch.
That'd be cool. Do you know when and where?
I do, and if you give me a second, I will find it.
I'd probably like to attend that.
Would you?
I would.
Let me see. I'll find it for you. Hold on. I'll find it. Robin, if you're listening, I need to find that thing about the fire.
Don't hurry. I mean, we can.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We can do it later.
I'm sure I have it or somewhere.
Yeah, we do a lot of. We've got a job right now in Dunellen that has caught fire and burned pretty much the entire. Well, it burned quite a bit of the house, but the entire house is a loss.
Oh, really?
So yeah, we're going in there and doing a cleanup for the homeowner, and basically taking it down to the walls, the exterior walls. That's our job. So 10 a.m. tomorrow.
10 a.m. tomorrow they're going to
June 18th, 10 a.m.
And I was wondering if somebody who lives here used to live in that house. It's the dilapidated old home, but somebody lived in it at one time.
I'm sure. I don't know exactly where.
You have to call, I guess.
Doesn't have an address. I'm getting a phone call. My
somebody knows.
Well, I don't know if they know or not, but my phone right now, I am the all of our office numbers, our office lines are forwarded to me. So, since we're an on-call business,
right.
Somebody's got to answer the phone 24 hours a a day.
How do you do it when you're on the radio?
So
want me to talk?
Just send it to a message, and I'll call them as soon as we get done. So
it's buzzing.
But I don't see on here an address.
No, and I noticed that too. Maybe we're supposed to call Jessica Green at the fire department, because that's the number we have at the bottom of it there. So
yeah, contact Jessica Green.
Yeah, so call her. If they sent it to us to read it on the air, I would imagine that it's okay for spectators to come by and watch.
I would assume so.
Doesn't it make you appreciate what they actually do for a living?
Well, and I follow the Marion County Fire Department as well as the Sheriff's Department on Facebook, and every time they post pictures or something, I always like it, because you really, we just kind of take for granted, I think, that they're just going to do the job and take care of things. And that they're always there. I know.
So we are reminded now and then, when things don't go well, how daring they really are in order to take care of the rest of us.
Well, and even last week, you think about, I think it was last week, wasn't it? They were finding those suspicious packages around. And
yeah, that was crazy.
Just random stuff like that. We don't even think about stuff like that. We just. Most of us probably will go through life and never have to dial 911. I've never had to. So I don't really think about it, but we're driving down the road and all of a sudden we see an ambulance and fire truck go by us, and we just take for granted that they're always there.
Yeah, right.
So
you have a job in Denellen. Did you say it's a house or a business?
This is a home.
Uh-huh.
It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that has extensive fire damage, but more extensive smoke damage throughout the house, and as a result, the entire home has been deemed a loss.
Oh, wow.
And the insurance company has deemed it a loss. This homeowner, unfortunately, because things were kind of taking a little bit longer than she felt they should have, she hired legal counsel, which is sometimes necessary. And I don't really know all of the details. But now, the way this is happening, the lawyer gets 33% of the job total.
Yeah.
So whatever the claim total. So whatever she gets, right off the top, the lawyer is taking 33%. So with that being the case, she's got to now build the house with 33% less than what she would have to normally build it.
So the attorney doesn't automatically build in his commission? I thought that's how they did that. They asked for more so that nobody would have to be shortchanged.
I'm not sure exactly how that's happening.
And you do have a phone call. And by the way, Robin did bring us the address to this house. Now she must have
The address is 13840 Southeast 145th Terrace, Ocklawaha.
There you go. And good morning. You're on the air with Joe Reichel.
Morning, it's Angie Lewis. How you guys doing?
Good morning, Angie.
She would know the answer, wouldn't she?
Angie Lewis, State Farm.
I'm so glad to hear you're talking about such things. We've had a lot of claims due to all this crazy weather that's been going on.
Yes.
So,
as far as have you noticed lightning strikes or trees or what is the majority of what you've seen?
the majority of what we've had to deal with the last month or so has been trees. We really haven't had any lightning. We haven't had any fires as a result of lightning. Now, we have tree limbs down as a result of lightning, but not necessarily home fires, thank goodness. But and with the tree limbs that we've had down, we actually haven't had a lot of house damage. We've had a lot of car damage, a lot of total cars, actually, when a large tree limb falls on a car that's in a parking lot.
Oh, like in Chili's, right?
Right.
Wow.
Exactly. But at residential houses as well. So, you know, and it's always an interesting thing, too, when it's somebody visiting someone and that person's tree limb falls on their car.
Man.
So that would be your auto insurance would cover that, though, right?
Exactly, unless you can show that the person's tree was dead prior and that they haven't maintained their tree. So I was hoping you were going to talk a little bit, too, about making sure that you're doing things to mitigate loss.
That is exactly what we were going to talk about. This time of the year with all of the weather, a lot of winds, and the lightning, for example, it's a great idea to maintain your trees. Have them, they call them thinning them out, maybe, is what a lot of the tree surgeons call it. And basically what they do is lighten the tree so that you don't have as much weight up there. People don't realize, I don't think most people realize how much weight is suspended up there in the air. So that when you get these winds and storms like we've been having, it does fall. And especially if that tree, like Angie was just saying, if that tree is unhealthy, you have even more of an issue. If that tree is dead or has dead limbs in it and those fall on your neighbor's property, you are still responsible for that. So
correct.
Yeah, that's the hard thing to know, though.
I don't want to hold you guys up, but I just wanted to say special thanks. I know you guys were talking about all the stuff that our firefighters and our police do, and I agree with that. They're awesome. We have a lot of them that take care of us here and our clients, but I also just wanted to give a quick shout out to you guys, Joe, because for most of the things that happen in our office, you guys are the go-to people that come in and rescue, so we appreciate that as well.
Anytime, Angie. Anytime.
So you might want to
welcome.
take that call.
Thank you for the call,
all right,
Angie.
You guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Yeah, she typically calls whenever something's needed, so it's great. And we're currently doing the build out for her on her new office and the new home that she's going to be having there on 416 Fort King Street. So that's been a great project for us and a lot of fun working in a historic home. So
anything you have to do differently when it's a historic home like that?
A lot of things.
There's no concrete foundation, right?
Well, not in this home. There isn't. Not in part of it, yes, but not the majority of the home. The majority of the home is a wood floor system. And as you're going through an older home like that, you find all kinds of things as far as the type of construction, the older wiring, the wear and tear on the building, such as termites, for example.
Yeah, right.
This is something not necessarily for this one, but something you always find in older homes. So there's a lot of things like that you need to be cognizant of as you're going through and bringing it up to current building codes. So
when Andrew was talking about mitigating the I guess the damages, in advance, is that what she means? Like doing something so that...
Well, if you've got a tree that's overhanging your house and it's dead, it's your responsibility to take care of this tree.
Yeah, right.
To get it taken down, and if it's a dead tree...
So what happens?
A noticeably dead tree, and it falls on your house or your property, your insurance is not going to... Because
they're going to say you should have done something about this. Right, okay. But if lightning hits it, then obviously there's no way you could have known that was going to happen.
No, unless it's a dead tree already. I mean, that's still... you still need to take care of the problem. So, and that's where a lot of times people, if you've got... leaves piling up in your gutter, and all of a sudden that it's created a water issue where it's backed up, water backing up and coming in and destroying, damaging your drywall and leaking all down in the house. That's a maintenance issue. It's not necessarily something that's going to be covered by your insurance. So that's why maintenance is important. Making sure your gutters are cleaned out, making sure that overhanging limbs aren't rubbing on the house or dead limbs over the house, dead trees, things like this.
We had an arborist in here one day talking about preparing trees for heavy winds, and there's a way to, I guess, thin them out so that the wind goes through them rather than against them.
Yes.
And that would prevent because sometimes healthy trees can be blown down.
Oh yeah. If
they're not thinned out, and that's the way it sounds.
Well, that's what basically what we were talking about. What I was saying, without coming out and saying it, there is a lot of weight up there, and all of the leaf yield and everything that's there is basically a solid barrier. So as that wind's blowing against it, it's pushing every bit of that tree. And, even if it is a healthy tree, it can still come down. And that's what happens a lot of times. Most of the trees that come down, you would have never thought that they would come down. There'll be just a beautiful, great tree, but you get these rains that come in and they loosen the soil. If it does have a weak area in it that you don't, can't tell. So wind comes and blows it right down.
Yeah, and one of the things that comes up a lot on your show and on really almost all of the shows, there's always this: who do we call? How do we know who to call? In other words, who would you recommend? Even when we have doctors in here, listeners will call and say, "Can you recommend a surgeon or whatever it is?" And so people will call you. I know this happens all the time to you.
Yeah.
So would they go to their insurance agent and say, who do I go to? I don't have any damage right now, but I want to prevent it, and I have no idea who to call to thin out my tree?
Well, your insurance would probably be able to recommend someone. I mean, we work with several different tree surgeons that are able to help. There's quite a few of them that are local here that are great companies to work with and people that are knowledgeable. But all of the time, you want to make sure that whoever you're getting to take care of your trees is licensed and properly insured. Because if an accident was to happen, you want to make sure that it's going to be able to be taken care of. Accidents such as everything from someone getting hurt on your property while they're working there to them damaging your property. I mean, they're going to be there with heavy equipment.
Yeah.
They're going to be driving on your property. It could create ruts in your yard.
Right.
They could cut a tree and it falls on your house or the neighbor's house. I mean, there's all kinds of accidents that could happen, and that's why you want to make sure that you get someone that is always make sure you get someone that's properly insured and licensed, and maybe even ask for referrals from them.
Yeah, and on the gardening show, which is on
with Carol Ann
just a little while ago. She will often say that if you are doing some kind of a construction near a tree, make sure that the roots of that tree haven't been damaged. You may not even realize it.
Yep.
Maybe you put down a driveway and just the weight of the equipment that put that driveway down could have caused some root damage.
Well, and then too, I mean, every time you do, a driveway near a tree or as the tree gets older, it's growing, and it's a lot of times you'll see driveways or sidewalks or even foundations that that tree is growing against it and causing problems to that. They're affecting each other, and that's something people don't realize. You see the driveway cracking, or you see starting to heave, or the sidewalk. The same thing happens whenever. This would be a great call to take. And this is Giselle with the Brickman. I'm going to answer this.
Okay, all right. Is there a way to do this?
Giselle.
He's talking on the phone.
I need you to call my radio show. We're going to talk about shrubs and trees against houses right now. So what number do I need? 622
9622.
9622. Call that right now.
I don't know if I can call out from there.
622 9622. Yep. Call me right now.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Who's this, Giselle?
This is Giselle Rodriguez. She works for Brickman. And she is my go-to girl as far as trees and plants and things.
Did she know you were calling? Here we go.
I don't know.
You ready?
Yep.
Giselle, is that you?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, you're on the air now.
Good morning, Giselle.
Hi. Good morning.
This was not planned. You're on the air. This is Giselle Rodriguez with the Brickman Group. And what is your title, Giselle?
I am an account manager.
An account manager. So what do you do for Brickman, other than manage accounts?
I am the face of the company for the client. I'm in charge of retaining the accounts I have and getting new business.
And
making sure they're happy.
So you go out, you look at different jobs and make sure that they're happy with the way that the landscaping is being taken care of, right?
Correct.
Okay,
yes,
so we're
sure
talking. We were just talking about trees and taking care of trees, and I know you guys don't necessarily do that, and you refer that out, but you often work with your clients to make sure that everything is healthy and maintained, right?
Right, correct. Yeah, our maintenance contracts typically go up to anywhere from 10 to 15 feet, and then anything above that we subcontract out. But it is the trees and shrubs on the buildings are a big concern for the clients, especially commercial buildings. In fact, I just had a client that I met with end of last week, and they had some trees touching their building, and they were actually having a situation with some rats getting into the building. because the trees were touching the building above the 15 feet.
Well, I see all the time, those limbs that are rubbing against the building and causing damage that way as well. So, not even mentioning, leaves and debris piling up in gutters and valleys in the roof.
Yeah. And, right now with hurricane season coming up, it's even more so important, especially in this area with the large oak trees, so that you don't have to call Joe for major damage, and you just have to call him for minor things to, a lot of these oak trees that have the dead wood and just need to be thinned out so that the winds can get through the tree as opposed to cause damage and grab limbs and throw them on your house.
Yeah, don't take care of it now so you don't have to call me.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, yeah.
No, and that is exactly it. I mean, when you have to call me, that means something bad has happened. So I'd much rather you take care of it ahead of time.
So should they call you to get their trees taken care of, Joe?
Well, we don't necessarily take care of the trees, but we can refer them refer them to somebody to do it. But excellent. Well, I just wanted to. I know you didn't call for this. This was kind of just an impromptu thing.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you calling in and helping me with this just to verify what we were talking about. And I will call you in a few minutes when I get off the air.
Sounds good. But it is a big problem, especially commercially. A lot of hotels and resorts require nothing touching the building. Absolutely nothing. So.
Anyway, for good reason.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, have a good day, Joe.
Thank you, Giselle.
Other person on the air.
Yeah, that's Larry. Yeah.
Thanks, Larry.
All right.
I guess I should have introduced you, Larry.
That's all right. That's all right. So there's a lot of good reasons to make sure that the greenery, the trees, etc., is
well,
kept
I mean,
at bay.
even your shrubs and your lower vegetation, when you have that close to the building, we didn't even talk about that with Giselle, and we could have for sure. When that's close to the building, that's maintaining, holding water. A lot of times your sprinkler system is going against that and causing that moisture to be there and can easily cause a problem inside of the building. And we just had a project this past week where the vegetation was up along the building, and in changing out some base, just pulling the baseboard off, there was the drywall behind the baseboard was moldy on the exterior walls.
Oh, really? So
we cut a little bit to see if it was moldy on the back side of the drywall or if it was just something on the face, and it was on the back side.
Oh, wow. So it's soaked through.
A 20-foot area, we had to cut out that drywall, just up a foot, and that was able to get rid of all of that mold. We properly
it's like
bagged
surgery.
it.
You cut out the bad and putting in, you just cut out the form that you removed and replace it with something new?
It's just like having a mole removed, basically. That's what we cut it out.
A mole.
A mole. We did some mold removal, but it was like having a mole fixed. Just have it removed. Yeah. So we were able to cut that out. We used an antimicrobial treatment
we had
to clean it, and then it's ready to be dry. After it dries out, it's ready to put new drywall back, and you'll never even know there was a problem there. But it was all because of the vegetation against the building on the outside.
Well, I was just going to add, we had a headache doctor in here, and mold can cause headaches.
Yep.
So if you have
cause all kinds of problems.
You never know. You might have a headache because you've got some mold somewhere hidden in your house.
Cause headaches. It can cause respiratory symptoms, all types of sicknesses.
Well, interesting show as always. And do you want to give out your number again?
My phone number is 352-817-6574, or you can email me, joe@damageflorida. And just as a reminder, talk to your insurance agent and make sure that you're properly covered with all your insurances with these storms coming in.
And mitigate the damages.
That's right.
That's my word for today. Mitigate. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Larry.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Two monster tornadoes ripping up a small Nebraska town.
Whole blocks of houses are destroyed.
Touching down seconds apart and about a mile from each other. A 5-year-old is confirmed dead, and the sheriff's office reports a second person has also been killed. More of our forces, nearly 300 of them, returning to Iraq, where militants are overrunning parts of the north.
U.S. troops will not join combat, but the president has ordered 275 Marines and soldiers to Iraq to reinforce security at the sprawling embassy in Baghdad and protect other assets around the country, including airfields, should larger evacuations be required.
Fox Radio's Jared Halpern. And the FDA wants Americans to shake the salt habit, trying to prevent thousands of deaths each year from heart disease and stroke. The agency preparing to issue voluntary guidelines asking the food industry to lower sodium levels. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
I stopped seeing life insurance as something only rich people needed after my brother-in-law died. On top of really missing him, I watched my sister struggle to keep up with their mortgage, car payments, and everyday living expenses for her and the kids. I realized then that life insurance isn't just for millionaires. It's for anyone who has people in their lives who depend on them to get by. It's to help everyday people help protect their families. People like me. So I called AIG Direct, and I was shocked at how affordable coverage can be. Just $14 a month.